Hello myself and everyone watching this video. I'm really happy to be back, and I have another reading passage to share today. So the reading for today is about learning a language as an adult. So let's start. Learning a language as an adult. The question of how people learn an additional or second language, L2, has received a great deal of attention from scholars. The research has offered evidence for a number of conflicting claims about L2 learning. However, there is no dispute about one fundamental observation. It is possible and quite common for adults to achieve a high degree of success in learning L2 vocabulary and even grammar. In their vocabulary, sometimes their grammar, they may become very much like a native speaker. The same degree of success is relatively rare in L2 pronunciation. However, second language speakers' pronunciation is related to the age at which they are first exposed to the L2. This is the single best predictor of how closely their communication will approximate the accents of native speakers. Speakers who were very young when they were first exposed to their L2 almost always have better pronunciation than those who were exposed at an older age. Results from a number of research studies offer evidence for the existence of this phenomenon. They support the basic rule that younger is better in the long run. Older learners may begin with an advantage, presumably because they have superior cognitive abilities. However, eventually, younger learners always catch up and overtake older learners, especially in pronunciation. It is important to stress that this has been shown in second language context, that is, where learners are living in the L2 community and receiving constant exposure to the L2. The same reason has not been demonstrated in situations in foreign language learning, where learners live in the first language community and their primary exposure to the L2 is in the classroom. How have scientists accounted for the fact that adult learners rarely attain native-like pronunciation in the L2? One explanation is the critical period hypothesis. This idea has a much broader application than L2 learning, and it tends to the other animals and other kinds of learning. The hypothesis states that if an animal or human does not receive the necessary stimulation during a critical period of development, it will not develop a specific ability. For example, baby cats that do not receive visual stimulation during a particular period will grow up blind, although there is nothing wrong with their eyes. Baby birds that are not exposed to the song of their species will not develop normal songs. Their songs will sound different. These ideas have important implications for language learning. Proponents of the classical period for languages learning argue that complete acquisition of language is only possible before cerebral literalization ends. About the age of 12, cerebral literalization occurs when two hemispheres of the brain increasingly specialize in particular functions. See the finger 3.2 function of the left and hands and side and right hemispheres of the human brain. The left smell, right hand, speech, writing, left ear, main language center, calculation, right visual half field, smell at the right hemisphere, smell, left hand, right ears, simple language comprehension, spatial concepts, and left visual half field. At the end of this process, control of most, although not all, language function is permanently located in the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere is reasonable, among other things, for visual and spatial perception. When literalization is complete, according to the theory, the critical period closes. This is the period during which most humans can achieve native-like mastery of language, particularly in the area of pronunciation. There is not a lot of evidence for the critical period for first language learning because there are not many situations in which different have no exposure to language until they are 12 years old. There has been just a few cases of modern feral children, or children who have grown up away from adult and civilization. There is also one famous case of Genies, a child abused by her parents, locking her in a room and never speaking to her. The authorities found her when she was 13 years old, both in her case and in the case of feral children. The critical period hypothesis was supported. These individuals never fully mastered language. They acquired an extensive vocabulary, but their grammar and pronunciation were not native-like. There is more evidence for the critical period hypothesis for L2 learning than for first language learning. It seems to apply most strongly to pronunciation. It suggests that learners who wish to acquire a native-like accent need to begin learning when they are children, and that other learners are unlikely ever to attain that goal. Nevertheless, there are counterexamples. There are adult L2 learners who can pass as native speakers, and there are learners who, with extensive exposure to the L2 as children, are not native-like in their L2 as others. However, both of these are natively rare. In addition, there does not seem to be a precise age at which complete mastery is no longer possible. The ability to pronounce the L2 like a native speaker does not disappear suddenly. Instead, it declines gradually. For this reason, many L2 researchers prefer the term sensitive period to critical period. It should be emphasized that these ideas do not justify an end to the teaching of L2 pronunciation. It is possible for learners to achieve very good pronunciation in the L2 through instruction, hard work, and practice. Second language learners can develop speech that is grammatical, expressive, and perfectly comprehensible. They do not need to sound like native speakers. Well, this is ends of the passage. I just found that a fun fact. This is about improving your reading speed. So let's listen. Good readers read quickly and understand most of what they read. However, like other skills, reading faster is a skill that requires good technique and practice. One way to practice is to read frequently. Read about the topics you are interested in, not just topics from your academic courses. Reading for pleasure will improve your reading speed and understanding. I think that's so true. That's true. Another way to practice is to choose a text you have already read and read it again without stopping. Time yourself, record the time, and keep a record of how your reading speed is increasing. These strategies will help you improve your reading speed. Before you read a text, look at the title and any illustration. Ask yourself, what is this reading about? This will help you figure out the generation topic of the reading. Read words in group instead of reading every single word. Focus on the most important words in sentence, usually the noun, the verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Don't pronunciation each word as you read. Pronouncing words will slow you down and does not help you to understand the text. Don't use a pencil or your finger to point the words as you read. This will also slow you down. Continue reading even if you come to an unfamiliar word. Good readers know that they can skip unfamiliar words as long as they understand the general meaning of the text. And here are the table reading calculation. So, calculating your reading speed. After you have completed a unit in this book, read one of the reading. Use your cell phone and watch your time, how long it takes you to complete the reading. Write down the number of minutes and seconds it took you in the chart on the following page. You can figure out your reading speed, that is your words per minute, read by doing the following calculation. First, convert the seconds of your reading time to decimals using the table to the right. Next, divide the number of words per reading by the time it took you to complete the reading. For example, if the reading is 525 words and it took you 5 minutes 50 seconds, your reading speed is about 90 words per minute. Record your words per minute read in the chart on the following page. So that's all. Thank you for keep reading and have a new video, and hopefully just keep reading tomorrow and constantly with this series. Thank you for watching. See ya.